Good evening, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for joining us this evening. I hope everyone's doing all right. I know it's Monday, it's the start of the week, so I hope everyone's doing fine. So, to start, I'm Alia. I'm from the DSC University Technology Petronas, and today we'll be doing a talk about women in tech, and it will be presented by Ms. Amrita Nambiar. So, before we begin, I would like to talk a bit about what is DSC for those who are new here or for those who don't know much about DSC. So basically, DSC is university-based community groups for students who are interested in Google developing technologies, or for those who wants to know or learn more about latest technologies. Students in DSC can get the opportunity to improve their skills or to gain new knowledge or skills related to the tech field through workshops, trainings, and basically everything related to the tech field. And students can also get the opportunity to network with people from various backgrounds, various majors to solve problems related to the technology. And we welcome everyone from different backgrounds, different majors. You don't even have to be in IT or good in computer or technology to join us. And we welcome everyone to join us. And before we start, I would like to show a video about what is TSC.
Developer student clubs train thousands of student developers globally and work with their communities to solve real-life problems. Google selects amazing students from across the globe once a year to be a developer student club lead and start a club on their campus. These leads believe knowledge is power and that technology can do extraordinary things for the world. They take on the responsibility to help students learn and empower these students to solve real problems around them. Join us in building a global community for students.
So I hope through that video, everyone will get excited and want to join DSC for those who haven't. So to start, I would like to invite Ms. Amrita to join me for the talk today. This is Ms. Amrita.
Hi. Hi, Alia.
Before we begin, I'd like to talk about a bit about who she is and why she's so awesome. So Ms. Amrita is actually a community builder and a DSC lead. She's currently doing a final year of undergrad at University of Malaya, majoring in AI. She was actually the founder of DSC Malaysia and DSC University of Malaya, which is amazing. And she had led her around over 30 events in areas such as machine learning, app development, and cloud computing. And there's more than 3,000 participants, and 40% of them were actually first-time programmers. Her major interest is in neuro-linguistic programming and machine learning. She loves helping people to develop their skills, and she also loves cooking and classical dancing. So today she will talk about her experiences about being in the tech field and how she overcome that challenges. And she also gave us some tips to women who are inspired to be in the industry. So basically, yeah, so that's what she will talk about today. So I will pass the floor to Ms. Amrita, and we will hear about all of the awesomeness. So,
yeah. All right. Thanks, Alia, for the introduction. That's very kind of you. Also, thank you for inviting me to talk about women in tech. I'd say that it's a very it's a topic that's very close to me, and it's an honor for me to be talking about this topic and representing all those wonderful women who have tremendously contributed in the tech industry. So along these years, I've come across many inspirational women through events held by people from the tech industry. And I'd say that I have a long way to grow and to become like them, but I'm very glad that today I'm getting the opportunity to reach out to all of you amazing women out there who are part of the industry or aspiring to be part of it. So I hope that this talk would inspire you or at least give you the idea to reach your full potential because trust me, you guys are all awesome. I think that it's really important to acknowledge this topic because it isn't something that affects women alone, but the entire ecosystem of the industry. I believe that no matter which industry or area it is, diversity is crucial because it promotes better performance. Yeah, sorry. Okay. And since we're talking about the tech industry, I guess like a geekier way for me to back up my statement would be that it's very similar to why we use genetic algorithms to generate high quality solutions to optimization problems. So for those of you who are wondering, where is she getting with genetic algorithm and what does it have to do with this talk? So let me just briefly explain what genetic algorithm is about. So it's just an algorithm that was inspired by Charles Darwin's theory of natural evolution. So it reflects the process of natural selection where the fittest individuals get selected for reproduction so that you get to produce offsprings for the next generation. So why I'm connecting this with our topic today about women and diversity is because the key of this algorithm is to maintain diversity. And so like we, being in a community with different individuals, it's important for us to have diversity and to produce better results and for us to come up with better solutions. It's always best to have people from different backgrounds, different expertise or experience, because with that we would have more to offer, more ideas to come up with. Being dominated by a certain population might limit our productivity because with more ideas we get to achieve greater things, right? So I'd say that this topic isn't just targeted for women, but it's for everyone in general. It's applicable for everyone. And I'll start my talk with my journey. So my journey into the tech industry started when I was in high school. So I've always enjoyed math, even in a very young age. But just like most students in high school, I was very confused thinking about my future, what I want to do with my life, who I want to be. And I was sure that I didn't want to prepare myself just for a job, but I wanted to discover what truly what my passion is. Because I believe that your passion and your career should be in line so that you wouldn't have to wake up in the morning thinking of going to work as a burden. It should be something that you enjoy, right? So yeah, I was exploring my options and I kept going to a lot of educational fairs, meeting with people. I would take like every single opportunity to talk to people from different backgrounds, listening to their stories, hoping that I'd figure out how I would want to carve the story of my life. And listening to these stories, each and everyone's stories, really inspired me and gave me many life lessons, which I'm truly grateful of. However, sadly, I was quite clueless even then because I still didn't know what I wanted to do in life. I couldn't figure out yet. And there was only one thing in my mind that I was very sure of, and that was to make sure that no matter what I do, it has to be something that would help the community to become a better place, and I should create an impact in people's lives. So being a huge people person, I have always had this passion about helping people grow and bringing out the best in them. So this was like my compass to understand whether I've found the right path that would suit me best. So in my pursuit of finding my story, I was very much inspired when I first read Google's newly appointed CEO back then, Sundar Pichai. So when I first read about him, I was very much inspired. And ever since, I started following up on him and Google, pretty much like a stalker, but just kidding. So I used to like keep up to date with all these news, and I still do that. So what I really admire about him is how grounded he is and how he finds ways to connect with people. And that was something that I was looking for in life, and that really made me attracted to how Google works. So following all these tech advances, I slowly started inclining, my interest slowly started inclining towards the tech industry. And I've been really fortunate. So that's my family in the picture. I've been really fortunate to have a very supportive family who were always by my side, trying to understand my interest and my personality. So they educated me about the opportunities in the tech industry and exposed me to all the different areas that I could possibly explore. So finally, I made the decision to apply for my undergrad degree in computer science, majoring in AI at University of Malaya, and I was fortunate enough to get selected for it. I got accepted. So while in movies this might be the happily ever after ending, unfortunately that's not how things work in real life. So I got enrolled in computer science, and I was extremely excited about it. Felt I mean, the possibilities of what I could do with tech really excited me. But along the way, I started having doubts if I was at the right place, because there was a vast gender difference, which at first did not trouble me. But it became rather intimidating when I got comments from people saying that it isn't the right area for me, being a girl. I was also overwhelmed when I just enrolled in CS and being a first-time programmer. So that was quite overwhelming. I studied for my exams, I completed assignments, but in the end of the day, I felt quite empty because I was so clueless and I had no idea how to actually apply all these things that have been, all this knowledge that has been provided to me in real life situations. Yeah. So this started making me feel quite unhappy, and it kept bothering me. So it sort of affected my confidence, because this wasn't how I envisioned things to be. However, one day while I was having a chat with a group of friends, I got to know, like, I was expressing my feelings and how I felt about how things are going. And I got to know that it wasn't just me who felt that way. There were many other students out there who felt the same. They were all, I mean, many of them were feeling lost, and they weren't sure of what they were doing, if it was right, how to actually apply these things that they've learned in real life problems, or how would the industry, like what would the industry expect out of them. So this made me curious, and I wanted to understand the root cause of this issue. I knew that I had to do something about it. So I started taking the initiative to meet with people from the industry who have experience in it. And I actively started attending tech events that I felt would benefit me. And there I came across many people who, with whom I got to share my experience, my emotions, my problems. So we shared all these things. And finally, I sort of discovered what was the problem I was facing. I noticed that it had nothing to do with my gender or anything, but it was just that my approach towards learning CS wasn't right. So while understanding theories in CS is important, I guess that putting it into practice is crucial. I understood that most of us CS students were missing out the important element of getting hands-on experience, because I think that that's probably the best way to cultivate your passion, because if you've already selected, if you're already chosen to be in the tech industry, I guess you're interested in tech, but unless you know what to do, that could affect your confidence and your interest. So that's when I decided I've got to meet the right people and do the right thing to solve my problem, because self-pity or complaining about something isn't going to get me anywhere. And neither was I ready to give up on CS, because I knew this was something I wanted to be part of. I wanted to be this part of this amazing community where we get to create great impact with technology. And tech is literally intersecting with every single field or any area, and it has contribution in every areas. So yeah, with this, I was sure that this isn't something that I want to give up on, and I have to find ways to overcome my problem. And I'd say that I had a turning point in life. So moving to the third picture there. So this is when I watched the Google I/O a few years back, where I got to know about this constant, continuous effort that's being put in by the team at Google to improve people's lives. I was particularly inspired by the story of a developer called Tanya, who collaborated with the Gboard team at Google to bring in predictive suggestions in Gboard for those using Morse code to communicate. So the person there in the picture is Tanya and her husband. So both of them are developers. So watching this at the I/O, that very moment, I was assured that I've made the right choice and I am at the right place. I was sure that no more questions are to be asked about this, because this is something that I envision myself to do, using tech to help people and create a better quality of life for people. So ever since I had this drive to make sure that everyone who wants to solve a problem they're passionate about using tech would have a place to go to, where they get to acquire the set of skills they need to make their dreams come true. So while working on my personal growth, I was very fortunate to have the support and aid from communities powered by Google, such as the Google Developer Group, GDG, and Women Tech Makers. So they would frequently organize events, workshops, sharing sessions, where people who are experts from the industry come and share knowledge with students and anyone who are interested in acquiring skills in tech. So this was really helpful for me, and it also inspired me to make sure that other students who might not have the privilege or awareness that I had to meet these people, they would also get the kind of help that I got. So that's when I started working on the App Club with a bunch of friends. It's a startup community where we created a platform to experiment different approaches to teach computer science and IT to students with product development in mind. So yeah, and that was going very well, and I was very happy with how things were working out. And then last year around this time, I came across the application to be a DSC lead. So like Alia mentioned earlier, DSC is a community for students with the interest to become developers. And with support from Google, a lot of resources and experts from the industry help out students. And this was pretty much everything that I imagined that I could do. So this was my goal when I was in university, when in my first year. I wanted to make sure by the end of my term as an undergrad student, I would be able to create a community, a solid community that would help each other. So DSC was definitely a community that could make all these things happen. And I was very much eager to apply for it. And I did start applying for it. I started filling out the form, and looking at the questions on the form, I started getting intimidated because I felt that I was probably not good enough for this. I'm probably not well equipped to lead a community, even though I was very much excited and interested to be a part of this community. I just stopped filling it up, and I Didn't open it for some time, but I kept having this in mind because it was something I really wanted to do. But I guess my insecurities came in, and I stopped myself from doing it. And then after some time, after a month, there was this new post saying that the application would close in 2 days, and that's when like the urge became like even stronger, and I started applying again, and then again I stopped halfway. So I was sure that I didn't want to give up because I wanted it. It was just that I wasn't sure that I was good enough for this. So I called up my brother and I was telling him about it, and he told me something really wise that made a big change in my life, because he told me like, just apply for it, because like what are you going to lose even if you apply? Like the worst that could happen is you get an email saying that you weren't selected. Like what else could happen? But if you don't apply, you're forever going to think about what could have happened if you had applied. So a lot of if questions would come up in your mind, and you're probably never going to have like peace of mind after that. So that definitely made a lot of sense to me, and I decided to apply. And yeah, here I am now being a DSC lead, and I would say it was probably one of the best decision I've made in life. I've gained a lot out of this, a lot of things, a lot of connections. I got to meet many people who have turned to be like family now. And I would say it was probably the best thing that has happened, probably one of the best things that have happened in my life. And I got many amazing opportunities to build my skills, both technical and soft skills as well, my leadership skills. It really made my growth, personal growth, just go exponentially. And yeah, I even got this offer where I got selected to attend the Google I/O this year. But unfortunately, COVID happened, so that didn't happen. So yeah, I think it was something, I mean, it is something that I would really be proud of, like what I've done. I'm glad that I made the decision to actually apply for it and not holding myself back, not stopping myself from going after my dreams. Because, I mean, when I was going to apply, I didn't even think of being selected. So obviously, I didn't think of being selected to go for the Google I/O. So I'd say that without trying, you shouldn't ever stop yourself or tell yourself that you're not good enough for something. Other than that, I was also doing my internship at the Maybank headquarters as a data analyst. Over there as well, I got a lot of experience. And despite, I mean, being a woman, I wouldn't say that I held back myself or stopped myself from doing what I wanted or voicing out what I wanted. So I think that were qualities that my employers really admired about me. So I would say that all women out there, you shouldn't hold back or think that you don't have the rights to voice out what you have in mind, because trust me, people really do value what you have to say. Your ideas really matter, and you could actually make a big difference by just voicing out and doing what you want to do. And I would say that all these good things that have happened in my life started ever since I started believing in myself, and I started building my confidence. So if you ever feel that you're not good enough for something, just get rid of that thought, because you never know until you try, right? So I would say that the greatest injustice you could do to yourself is stopping yourself from doing something you want to do or you're passionate about. Because doing that, you just end up closing all the windows of opportunity in your life. And that's really unfair an unfair thing to do to yourself. And I would really beg those out there to never ever do that to yourself, because you definitely deserve the best. So yeah, so these are a few things that came in my mind when I was planning to apply to be a DSC lead. So I'm sure that many of you out there might have had these thoughts for different situations, things that maybe mattered to you. And yeah, you would have thought that you're probably not good enough, you don't know how to do something, or you were just lucky to get something, or you don't deserve it. So these thoughts, I would say, many of us experience it, but there's no need for us to feel bad about having these thoughts, because we're all human beings and we have our ups and downs. So having these thoughts are normal for most people. So don't beat yourself up for that. But there's one thing I'd like to share is that who actually experiences these kind of thoughts. So yeah, like the slide shows that highly successful people and most women compared to men, college students, people who are starting in their career. So these are the also minorities. These are the people who are usually ones who experience these thoughts. But like I said earlier, you don't have to feel bad about this, because those who set their bar low or their expectations low are rarely victims to these kind of thoughts. So if you're having these thoughts, it would actually mean that you actually care about something, and you have high hopes, or you have big dreams in life that you want to achieve. So that's actually a good thing. So yeah, so it shows that you're someone who aims high, and it's not completely a bad thing to have these thoughts. But yeah, these are the effects. So it is known that with these kind of negative thoughts in our mind, it could actually affect our stress level, also probably bring down your self-confidence, which could also affect your relationship with people around you. And yeah, it would have adverse effects on your aspirations, and also inhibit your ability to enjoy other people's success. So jealousy and all that would come. So with all these emotions, do you think that it's actually worth it to experience all these things? I would say personally, it's not something that I would want to go through. I would rather be happy while achieving my dreams. So yeah, the next slide. How do we overcome this? So personally, what I've done is that first of all, it's the most important thing to do is to boost your self-confidence. Never let yourself, down just because you think you're not good enough. Because trust me, how people see you and how you think you are, just like the picture there shows, is very different. We tend to think that we're less than what we actually are, and we tend to think that others are better than us. So when the truth might be both of us are probably just equally good at something. So we have to get rid of these kind of thoughts and believe in ourselves. Also, empowering others would actually help you a lot, because it would create a good relationship with people, and you would know that these are the people who would also be there for you. Because when you empower someone, you make them feel good. I think that feeling becomes mutual. And another thing is to celebrate success and also your failures. So this is something that we don't do in our daily life for some reason, because everyone is so caught up with just celebrating when something good happens, and they tend to think of when things don't go the way they expected, they tend to feel bad and feel that they're not good enough. So I think this isn't something that we should follow. Instead, we should celebrate both success and failure, because even if the outcome of something that you've tried isn't the way you expected it to be, but what matters is at least you tried. So when you try something, whether you are successful or you did not meet your goals, you have definitely gained some experience or some knowledge out of it. You've learned something out of it. So I think that's something that you should be celebrating. It's not something that you should be upset about. Learning new things, that's how you keep improving yourself. So yeah, so make sure you celebrate both success and your failures. And the next one would be to give back to the community. So this has really helped me ever since I was a child. I felt that when I don't focus on what I can gain out of something and rather think about what I can give, the satisfaction, the happiness I gain out of it is a lot more rewarding. So I think that that's another thing that I would suggest to practice. And the last thing would be to get to know yourself, doing self-reflection, understand yourself. So knowing yourself would actually make things a lot easier for you because you would know what to do then. So to get to know yourself, there are some things that you could ask yourself. So what would be the first thing would be try asking yourself, what is your superpower? Or what do you do better than anyone else? Also, what do people frequently compliment you for or praise you for? And what energizes you, what makes you excited about something? And lastly, what are your true passions? So asking these questions, so I actually got these questions from the DSC Summit last year. And ever since I've been going through this a lot, and I would say that it really, really does help because once you get to know yourself, you get to carve your own path, you know what to do with life. So that's something I would definitely recommend. So I guess those are some of the hacks, life hacks for your personal growth. And other than that, when you get to know yourself, this is when you get to understand what kind of career path you would like to take. So now that we know that you're interested in the tech industry, so the tech industry is actually a very huge industry with a lot of opportunities out there. And there's so many jobs that are very different from each other. So we might think that getting into CS, we already know what our job is going to be like, but that's not how it works. Once you get into CS, you know that there are so many branches that you could actually explore. So these are some of the popular tech jobs that you could probably look at. Yeah. And I'd like to share some resources that could help you build your skills and also build both your technical skills and your soft skills and get to know the opportunities that are out there. So the first one up there is Build Your Future with Google. So this is a site that would share about the programs, events, scholarships, different opportunities out there that you could actually apply for, and you could benefit a lot out of it, get exposure and experience from. And the other site would be the Technical Development Guide, where you get to find how to improve your technical skills, also probably tips for interviews. So yeah, this is the first one. So these are some of the, you could see some of the different options that you could click on: internship, events, programs, resources. So there's a lot to explore, so feel free to check it out. And the other one, the next one, is to grow your technical skills with Google. So you get exposure to all these different technologies out there. And it also has these suggested paths you could explore depending on your interest. So there is foundations of programming, advanced programming, machine learning, cloud computing. So depending on your interest, you could choose any of these paths and you could train yourself, equip yourself with all the technical skills that are required that you believe that could be useful for you in applying for a job or opportunities in the industry. So yeah. So these are just some examples that I am sharing, but there are also many other platforms out there. You could also go to Coursera and Udacity. So there are many platforms out there. Just make sure that you find what suits you best. Also, you could attend the DSC workshops. So with that, you get to have more personalized connection with those who are teaching you. You get to talk to them. So that's something useful. And yeah, so another thing, since our talk today is for women, this is another special platform for women out there. So there's this website called, this is a site for women tech makers. So you could explore that. There are many opportunities there for women, specifically for women. So one thing that I'd like to highlight is about the program where scholars are selected. So with this, it's pretty much like DSC, but this is for women alone. You get to connect with the community. You get to train your technical skills, your leadership skills. So these are the opportunities you get. You get to meet women from all these wonderful women from different parts of the globe. So feel free to check that out as well. So before I end, my advice to everyone is to remember who you are. So yeah, that gif over there. So just don't ever let your insecurities or anyone else from outside tell you what you should or you shouldn't do, because like I said, once you identify yourself, you get to know who you are. You would know what's best for you. Of course, getting mentors would really help to improve yourself, to build your skills. But always remember who you are and don't let any external factors affect your dreams or your goals in life. I'd say that we women are really strong and successful people as long as we keep our minds into it and we support each other in growing. So that's about it for today. Any questions?
Thank you for the really inspiring talk. So we'd like to open the floor to anyone who wants to ask questions related to the talk.
No, I actually finished it early.
It's really inspiring because personally I can relate to it as well, being the only woman in my course. All of them are male.
Oh, really?
It was challenging as well for me because you tend to doubt yourself in the field, like whether I can do as you mentioned. But yeah, it is in the end it is up to you, and also you just have to believe in yourself. So thank you.
Yeah, that's right. I guess as long as the problem isn't like the situation that we're put in, but what matters is what we decide to do out of it. We have two options. Either we could just sit down and feel sad for ourselves, or make the best out of it. And I guess you've done a great job in that as well.
I'll try. Yeah, you tend to be in self-pity in a while, like before, overcoming those challenges and getting the perspective that you need to change, not because of the situation, you just need to change yourself. So yeah, it's really great to hear from from someone who went through the same experience. So it's really inspiring.
Thank you.
So anyone here has questions to ask her or anything, can feel free to add in the chat box? Oh, someone
Shad said hi. Hi,
oh,
Shad.
that,
And
always be yourself.
yeah, that's true. I think as long as we are true to ourselves and we don't let any let the situation affect us, I guess we're good to go.
So just wait a few minutes before. If there's no question, we'll just end the session.
Yeah, sure.
So do you have any other tips or anything to give out to everyone who wants to be in the field? Not just women, generally who are different majors or different backgrounds or facing the challenges to basically get into the tech field.
I'd say first of all would be to, of course, build your confidence. Never feel bad that you are not well versed in something, because no one just comes into earth knowing everything, right? So just like how when we were kids we had to learn to even walk and talk, that applies for us like till the very last day of our life, because like our whole life is going to be a learning process, and we should never feel embarrassed of the fact that we don't know something. Instead, we should take that opportunity to ask questions and learn new things, because when you ask question, it doesn't make you any less, but instead it actually shows that you're someone who takes the initiative to learn new things, and it actually says a lot about yourself, because most people would just stay in their comfort zone and just remain silent. But once you have the courage to actually go out and start asking questions, it actually says a lot about yourself. Even companies, I think, like when they recruit, when they ask questions, like towards the end, they ask if you have any questions and stuff like that. Recruiters are actually more impressed by students or applicants who have questions for them. So that actually shows your passion about something or shows your interest. Yeah.
That's really good advice.
Thank you.
So I think there is no questions. So thank you everyone, and thank you Amrita for giving us the talk. It's really, really inspiring and resourceful. Thank you again.
Thanks.
So,
Thanks for having me.
yeah, and so yeah, we're gonna end the session. So if anyone here who are interested in joining the SC, do join the SC. It's really beneficial. Basically to improve, you can get to know new people, you can get to know people like Amrita, and gain skills.
And Alia.
But yeah, thank you again. So have a good night, and hope everyone's doing fine. So okay, bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you.